Hello. How are you?
Keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real with Shannon shining through. Laughs and insight, shining so bright. Keeping it real, it feels so right. Still keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real.
Hello, and welcome to Keeping It Real with Shannon. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Hello there, my little co-host. How are you?
Hello.
Is everything all right with you tonight?
Doing good tonight.
Okay, okay. Well, we have a special guest joining us tonight. We're going to be talking about prison reform and cannabis reform because you need to stop smoking all that weed so you can get reformed. Our guest can tell us about that. So let's bring him on now. Our special guest is Mr. Rob Boyd, and he's the CEO of Streets Don't Love You Back. And we want to welcome Mr. Robert Boyd to the show. How you doing, Rob? How's
Welcome.
everything?
Hey, thank you, ladies. I'm honored to be on your show and glad to be here tonight.
Well, good, 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 good. I'm glad because what we got to talk about is something that we really need to be talking about because our young people now really needs direction, and that's what we supposed to be here is to direct them. And this program that you have, the Streets Don't Love You Back, seems like a wonderful program, and y'all are doing a lot of work out in Phoenix, Arizona, and that's good. And you're also in other states and prisons around the country. So tell us a little bit of what you're doing with the prison reform, and then we'll get to the cannabis part. Um,
Well,
young people.
yeah, we are very passionate about prison reform and helping our youth. In 2009, like I explained, me and my wife created the program. And at first, we were just sending in resources into the prisons and to the young youth. And in 2015, my wife created the Streets and Love You Back Life Skills Intervention Program. So we needed a curriculum to help people. So after that, we started moving here in Arizona with the program first, and then it spread it out through the United States. And we just happy about that, and happy about all the people here in Arizona who open up the doors for us in their jails and in their prisons and in their courtrooms.
Mhm. So, how have you used this program? Like when you go into the prisons, how's that program done in the prison? How did it take place?
Well, self study. We send it into the inmates single, or sometimes we send it into the staff. And we just happy that the program has done help many, and a lot of adults and youths has done been through the program. We can't help everybody, but we can help the ones who truly want to be helped. But you also have to give people a chance to get the help. So when a person know right from wrong, then they can be held accountable. And if you don't know right from wrong, you truly can't be held accountable. So the main focus is teaching people right from wrong and better skills and making better choices. And we just happy about that.
And so these skills, what exactly does the program consist of in these skills that you're teaching? Are these just life skills or, just learning how to manage themselves out of prison, and ways of staying out of trouble?
Yes, you're correct. It's ways to manage yourself in the prison system, and it's ways for you not to go back to prison when you come home. And it's also ways for you not to even go in any jail gate. The pipeline in prison, that's a heavy thing because our youth are getting caught up daily. And a lot of our youth nowadays don't listen to their parents. They rather listen to somebody on the internet or somebody on the street before they listen to the people that love them. So we have to get back to our youth definitely listening to their parents, their grandparents, and that's done messed a lot of things up. Social media, as far as I'm concerned, because everybody takes that before they sit down and talk to someone and
Right,
see what's going on. They'll run straight to the internet, and
right,
that don't do nothing but cause confusion. Back in the old days, you had to see somebody at school, or you had to wait till you see them at church,
right,
what have you. So we have to get really back to the basics of life when it comes to helping our people, period.
Hmm. And how successful has your program been with the youth? Because you're really trying to get the young kids before they even get to prison.
Exactly.
Um, so I mean, how successful are you, especially when you are competing with social media and everything that's out now, where the kids think that that's the right way to go?
Yes, ma'am. Thanks for asking that question. The program has been very successful with our youth as well and with our adults. Like I said, you can't help everybody. Everybody ain't going to listen, but the ones that's listening, them the ones that you pay close attention to, and you just plant the seed with the others, because you can't help everybody, but you can
Mhm.
show plant the seed to let them know it's help here for them. So we make sure we let the youth and adults know it's a lot of resources here for you, and if you live to make it to change your life, we're here for you. But once again, a lot of people don't get a second chance. So when you get that second chance, you really have to take that with grace, mercy and grace from the Creator.
Mhm.
So, so Rob, how do you feel about this? Because I mean, people always say, "Oh, you're so traditional, so old fashioned, blah blah blah." Things have changed. People, but the thing about it is, I just feel like a lot of our kids is not so much out of control. Is what is it that what are we missing now? Because I say it goes back to the home and to the parents. And I understand parents work. I know they have jobs. Some are working 2 and 3 jobs. But the young people seem now to just be raising themselves. And they'll listen to the people who they're running the streets with. They feel they don't have to listen to adults anymore until something happens, until they get in trouble or something like that. And I'm not saying that everybody doesn't make mistakes. I make mistakes. I mean, and we try to change our lives and do better or whatever. But it seems like the young people now, like they're not trying to have the young people to do the right thing, what they're supposed to be doing.
Well, I'll piggyback off that, Miss Lottie. Back in the old days, the neighbor could give you a spanking and bring you home.
Exactly.
If Mr. Rollo seen you in front of the stove, boy, you better get up in front of that stove. I'm gonna tell Big Mama, and
Hmm.
you running straight home because Big Mama got the stick or the switch waiting on you, so you don't
Exactly.
want that. So in these time and days, these youngsters don't even fear that. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times there's no parents in the home. A lot of times you might have both parents on drugs or one parent's on drugs and the other one is nowhere around. So them are the things that's still going on that went on years ago. And it's more now with all these different drugs out here, methamphetamine and all these different drugs. Back in the old days, I had never heard of
Right.
methamphetamine and all these different kind of drugs that go on. And that's why we have to always stay consistent when it comes to helping people, period, out here, whether you're young or whether you're old, because you got a lot of older people out here that's just done went bananas as well since the internet come out. They feel they got to run to that all the time and not go down and sit down with the person you might have a problem with. So the internet done became a place where people just go vent their whole business out. That's
Hmm.
what we got to get back to the old days where I can sit down and talk to a Miss Lottie. I can sit down and talk to a Miss Tiffany if I got a problem with y'all. I don't have to give a long speech on the internet
Right.
Mhm.
with
Right.
people that
Right.
don't know now one of us. you
Right.
know?
Yeah, yeah.
So we have to get back to real life. We have to get back to respecting our elders. And back in our days, like I said, even the police back in the day, they used to walk the beat. They knew everybody in the community. They knew Big Mama. They knew your mama. They knew your brothers, your sisters. Boy, you better get home before I tell Big Mama on you. And
Mhm.
everybody feared Big Mama because they know Big Mama didn't play back then. That's
Mhm.
grandma. All the people
Mhm.
don't know what that word means. Grandma
Mhm.
didn't play.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
there's no more
when
Big
it's
Mama.
not in the part that they didn't play. Back in the day, they didn't have to say anything. All they
Oh
did
no,
was turn around and look at you.
you better know that,
The
Miss
look
Lottie.
was almost as bad as getting the lick.
You
Yeah,
better
but
hear
back in the days, I mean, we don't have Big Mama now because truthfully, grandma now is probably like 40 years old. So,
Yeah,
and so
35.
grandma's like, I'm still young and I'm still going to be doing my thing. They're not worrying about raising any children and grandchildren. So that kind of lifestyle now has definitely changed. But now it's down to the parents to kind of sit down and talk to your children about what to do and what not to do, which we're not, well, I am, but there's a lot of people out here that's not doing what they're supposed to be doing with their kids.
Correctly, and I'm gonna piggyback off of that, Miss Tiff. Back in the old days, once again, you couldn't go to your own parents' house, not alone Big Mama house, talking about you finna drink and smoke cigarettes and all that. That was a no. And now you got the youngsters, 35, 40 years old, they drinking and smoking and all that with their kids and using
Mm-hmm.
drugs with their kids.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so it's like the whole family structure has broke down when it come to what's happening nowadays. And that's why me and my wife's organization is passionate about helping people, period. No matter if you're homeless, on drugs, or prison, whatever, we always extending our resources to help people. Because once again, we all know we all make mistakes, we all do wrong, but it's all about what you do from that point if you want to straighten your life up. We have to
Mm-hmm.
let you know resources are here to help.
Very true.
But you know what, Ron? The thing about today is, see, the parents, they don't want you to say anything to their kids.
No, girl, they be ready to kill
They don't
you.
want you to say anything to their kids when they're doing something they don't have any business doing. But then when something happens to the kid, they be yelling at you like, "Oh, well, you was there. You didn't even say anything. You didn't even do anything. Oh, well, which one do you want?
Correct,
Do you
Miss
want
Lot.
me to say something to your kid, to help them not get in trouble? Or which one do you want?"
Yes, I'm gonna piggyback off that, Miss Lottie. This was about a couple of years ago. Some people had referred some people to our organization for help, but this young lady, she was about 46 years old at that time, and she was ready to go out and do wrong, and knowing her child had just robbed somebody, and she ready to go fight the people. No, you should be sitting down whooping his butt. You feel me? And checking him, not the people, because he done did wrong to the people. So that's why I said I didn't understand in this era of time how people ready to lose their life over their child when their child out here doing wrong. That's like, make me understand that. Make that make sense.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. No, I
Well,
agree with that too. But I mean,
yeah.
I think that a
Well,
lot of time it comes from trust as well. Like
yeah.
it's
Well,
hard to
we're
trust
gonna
people
continue
out
our
here.
conversation. We're gonna take a quick break.
Oh yeah, it's Shannon.
Text me. Text me.
Some people judge a book by its cover, and if you're not what people are looking for, you're kind of like a reject.
School, it feels like everyone's staring at me and I'm just kind of not really a person.
It just feels hard today. Nobody was listening to me.
Try to understand me more, and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at sounditouttogether.org.
Oh yeah, it's Shannon. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, on Facebook, YouTube. It's on tonight. It's Prime for 30 minutes. Join the chat. Hot topics, movers, shakers. How about that? Smart, outspoken. Don't miss a beat. It's true. Keeping it real with Shannon tonight. The hottest show in the city lights. It's Shannon. Oh yeah. It's Shannon. Keeping it real.
We're back. Thank you for joining us. And our special guest today is Mr. Robert Boyd. And before we went to break, Rob, we was talking about the parents don't want you to say anything to their kids and things like that. But when you're working with the young people now, particularly the ones that's been in prison, do you see a change? Do they want to make a change? Do you see that they want to change their life, or they still think being bad is a good thing?
Well, that's a great question, Miss Lottie. You have some people that's done did long stretches, and when I say long stretches, you got a lot of people that done did 30 years, 40 years in prison that comes home that's not been out here in this free world for many, many years. You have to truly sit down day by day and revamp educate their mind to the free world because 30, 40 years you only into the walls that's all you know is survival and being in the walls. So it's a lot of inmates that come home that I pay close attention to because even when they come home they reach out to the organization and I give them resources and different things like that, but you have to stay tuned in because the long stretches them the people you really really have to work with because out here is a whole new world for them, and that's the downside of it. When you're in prison that long, some people come home don't have nothing to come home to, and I deal with that a lot as well. And I have to sit down and give them a lot of different resources to keep them outside the walls. But I've been successful with keeping a lot of them outside the walls, and then some has have went back. Once again, you can't save everybody, but you
Right,
have to have the passion within your own self when you come home, and when you out here in the free world and have never been to jail, you have to take things the way they really are, and you can't take life for granted. And I think that's our problem today. A lot of older people and young people take life for granted. Like everybody's invisible and
right,
nobody have no
right,
structure
right.
nowadays. When we was all coming up, it was structure in the home. No matter if
Well,
daddy
that's
was,
that's the magic word you said, Rob. Is structure.
yeah, we
They
had
You were right about that. There's no structure. They up all time of night and sit in the bed knowing they got to go to school the next day, or they on the street. You see the young kids walking the street or time of night, and you be like, now why are they out here looking like they 12, 13 years old on the street, and after 12
that.
o'clock and stuff walking the street and stuff like
No.
like what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
Well, with that right there, Miss Lottie, the only thing we can do is pray that whoever their parents is or whoever is raising them come to their senses and understand that a child, when it's first born in this world, a child don't know nothing about doing wrong or right. That child have to be taught right from wrong. That child has to be taught love. That child has to be taught structure. Consequences, all of that. And I think everybody that's on this line tonight was taught that coming up. And in this time and day, that is not being taught. Structure is not being taught. Love is not being taught. And a lot of people are just running wild. And you can't say nothing to anybody, kids nowadays, because once again, they ready to hurt you for trying to do something right for their children,
Exactly.
you know?
This is what I was saying.
Some
Yeah.
kids out here that do get structure, they do get love and everything else under the sun, but they find themselves wrapped up in trouble with some other kids that, that don't have the structure that they have because they're trying to be down with the crew and all that type stuff. So, you know, I mean, what do we say about those kids and
You know what? The bottom line is to that. I'm gonna answer my side. Then Rob gonna answer his side. My side is because they're not afraid of their parents. Because my parents were strict, right? You follow what they told you to do. But when you got out there with some of your friends, you would do stuff that you're not supposed to be doing, but you would know how far to go. Now, if my father said be home by 10 o'clock, I already didn't toe up what I'm gonna do, and I still make it home by 10 o'clock. Okay. So it's not that you're gonna be them perfect little kid, no. Because you're still going to do some things that you're not supposed to be doing. It's just that you are not going to take it, but so far because you are too afraid of your parents. Not that they're gonna kill you or anything or nothing like that, but you had some fear of your parents. These kids doesn't have any fear of their parents.
And I'll piggyback off that, Miss Lottie, and what you said, Miss Tiff. everybody that was raised and born with structure and love and different things like that, I've done seen it time and time again that the people up on the hill, they comes down to the hood, they get caught up because they want to act like they from where we from. And when you try to act like you where we from, then you gonna get always caught up because you're trying to be something you wasn't raised to be. See, we coming from the jungle, a lot of us was trying to get out the jungle. But then a lot of kids coming from the hill, they came down trying to be part of the jungle, and then you get yourself caught up. Then you become a drug user. Then you become a prostitute. Then you become this, that, and the third. And you wasn't even raised like that. And I think drugs always take you to another page when you start using cocaine, using heroin, using all these pills, methamphetamine, and different things. I think that's the structure that comes from the top of the hill when they have it all. Now you come where we at, and now you destroy your own life. And now the parents saying, "Oh, you wasn't raised like that, Rollo. This, that, and the other." But now Rollo done got on drugs. Rollo ain't paying
Yeah.
$1 million house no attention now because he's
Mm-hmm.
out.
He's not concerned. He's not concerned anymore about the money and
Period.
where he come from anymore. Especially when they get on drugs, it becomes a different story then.
Right. And I see it all the time. To this day, I see that, I talk to parents that, their kids was raised and born in a great home. You know what I'm saying? And when
Mhm.
you get caught up out here and trying to follow the pack, then you're going to get caught up, especially when you don't know anything about the jungle. You will get caught totally up.
Well,
Mm.
before we run out of time, Rob, I wanted to ask you. You was talking about the cannabis reform. What did you mean by that? The cannabis reform? We can't smoke reef anymore.
Well, I'm going to
Oh
piggyback
no,
up.
no, we can't smoke it now. We don't have to go to jail.
Exactly. Now that cannabis is legal, I feel that any inmate, man or woman, that's still in prison for cannabis that didn't have a violent crime with that case, I think they should be let out of prison because
Mhm.
you're selling cannabis legal out here now. That
Mm.
there's, no, we got to hide and, we got to run around the projects and hide this. No, you go right into a dispensary and buy your cannabis legally.
Mm.
So there's no way that everybody that's in prison for cannabis that did not have a violence with that case, they need to be set free and they need to be resentenced. And this is something that me and my wife is pushing with the reform with the cannabis and our prison reform because no man or woman should be still sitting there when cannabis legal now.
I
Yeah,
agree. I
yeah,
agree.
that's true. You're right about that. Yeah, because some people went to prison just on having it on them, and
Yes,
then it wasn't even nothing violent they did. But some people got time for all of that.
I'll tell you this one right here, Miss Lottie. It's a young man. He did 25 years for 3 pounds of marijuana. 3 pounds.
Wow.
The brother didn't have no violence on his case or nothing, and he just come home last year. So it's people that I know personally has did a murder case, major drugs, and they out less than 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to make that make sense. How do a man spend 25 years for 3 pounds of cannabis, a plant? You feel me?
Wow.
Were they
So
wrapped up in that? If, correct me if I'm wrong. Those drug laws that was back in the days.
Right.
The Rockefeller. I can't remember
Yeah, the
exactly what
Rockefeller
it was.
law or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah,
that
that
that's
came
how
up
they
in
would
y'all state,
perform
New
this.
York. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that started in y'all state, the Rockefeller laws. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
Rock. Yeah.
Yeah, and the RICO laws. That started in New York.
Yeah.
I remember that because I used to come to New York a lot back in the '80s.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was craziness you did because once again you had to hide this, you had to hide that, you had to look around, you had to make sure you ain't moving crazy. But
Mm-hmm.
now cannabis is legal. It's legal and everybody can get it on every corner. It's a dispensary on every corner, whatever
Mhm.
state is legal in. So my thing to the people that's in power, and if you're looking at this video, the cannabis should be reformed. The people that's in jail for cannabis that did not have a violence with their case or none of that, they should be let free in all states.
Mhm.
No, definitely.
Maybe eventually that might happen. Maybe eventually that might happen if people start talking about it and start making an issue out of it and stuff. But I, but the person we have in office now, I don't know what's going to happen. We all might end up in jail someplace,
The
prison
jail.
taking your class. You know, Well,
Now, and you
yeah,
know what, Miss Lowry?
you know
I
what I'm
They're
want
gonna
saying?
have you somewhere else.
I want to piggyback off what you and Miss Tiff said. It's like you have to be a loud voice and bring attention to a situation and
Yeah.
to a certain thing for people to start paying close attention. Because if it's not a voice there that's speaking on something, then people don't know that, you know? So,
Hmm.
once again, the powers that be, I would like for you all to look at these cannabis cases that did not have no violence in it, and
Hmm.
we would like to have them people reach sentences and have them people home because cannabis is legal now. So why should a cannabis person still be sitting in your jail? Let them
Yeah,
out, you
So
you're
who
know?
right
should we
about
be
that.
reaching out
So
to? To our local
politicians
congressman,
and different people like
politicians.
that.
To
Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna have to, like you said, keep our voice open and like also too, we're wrapping up now, but the thing about it is that we as adults, we must talk to our young people and stop being afraid of our young people and talk to them and let them know, that there is a way, it's just that they have to make the right decision of what they want to do with their lives and stuff like that. And we just have to take time to talk to them more. And we want to thank you and your wife Lucinda for starting the program that you have and talking to the young people going into the prisons. So we want to thank you for doing that. And we have other programs that the young people can get into, and they just need to get out there and get into some of these programs. People keep saying there's nothing out there, but they are programs and stuff out there to help you. So we
Amen.
want to thank you again for coming on and joining us from Arizona,
Hey,
and
hey,
we'll come back again and say hello to Lucinda for us and thank her because I think she received the International Impact Award or something for the book that she wrote.
yes, ma'am. Thank you,
Yeah,
Miss Lowry, for thinking of
yeah.
us for
So
that. Yeah,
congratulations to her, and we'll
yes.
see. We'll thank you again for coming on, and thank you for watching tonight. Hi, Kenny. Thank you for watching tonight, and as always, we'll see you next time.